Welcome to the Keto Summit show, where it's all about helping you lose weight, regain energy, and live a healthier lifestyle using a keto diet. Here's your host, Louise.
So welcome to the Keto Summit show today. I am joined by Tanya, who has been a certified ACE personal trainer for over 2 decades. She has worked in the Toronto and New York areas at various health clubs, private homes, and corporations. And over the years, her clients have found long-term weight loss, increased muscle strength and flexibility, while feeling healthier, stronger, and more confident. She is also the author of Cookie Dough in the Dark, which details her journey with sugar addiction. So today we are going to chat about exercises to enhance your ketogenic diet. And she's going to tell us about 3 particular exercises towards the end of the show as well. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I love following you. So this is exciting.
Thank you. Well, I will jump straight into the questions. And I think for a lot of our listeners, it can be really intimidating to start a workout routine. They might not know where to start, what they should be doing. So what advice would you give to someone who knows they should be exercising, but don't really know where to start?
I think a lot of it comes to mindset. So we think we have to do this hour-long routine. We make it bigger than what it is. So I actually have a tea towel 5-minute series because we have to break down the barriers. So a lot of times people are like, I don't have a treadmill, I don't have equipment. And I'm like, all you need is yourself. And you learn how to use your muscles, right? So I typically tell people just start with 5 minutes a day. And people are like, well, what's 5 minutes going to do? So this is for somebody who's not exercising at all, right? This is, you've been trying to exercise and you're just not, it's not working. So basically start really small. And what happens is we have this amygdala in the back of our brain. And so we have to understand sometimes that we have the best intentions to start something, but something is stopping us. So if we can begin by doing 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes of intentional exercise, what it starts to do is to break that freeze fear pattern in us. And so that's why I created the Yes You Can series, which is like 5 minutes a day. Tea towel exercises, really showing people how to use their muscles. So I know everybody knows we should exercise. Some people don't think it's fun. So again, it's changing that mindset that exercise gives you energy, and so many people don't have energy. It makes you healthy and vibrant. So to get excited about it.
Totally. Actually, one of the things I love is just doing, say, 10 push-ups every morning when I wake up, and it invigorates you as soon as you wake up. And it's such a small thing that, even if you're doing a knee push-up or something, or a wall push-up, it's very easy to just get into that habit and, like you said, break through that fear.
Yeah, it's just a habit, and that's the biggest thing, right? We are a product of our habits. So if you get up in the morning and you do some arm circles to warm yourself up for some push-ups, which again, you said it perfectly. You can just do wall push-ups. So people, push-ups is very intimidating to some people, but you start on the wall, or you can even just start. I know some of you may not be able to see me, but you can just do, this sounds crazy, but you can do imaginary push-ups when you know how to use the muscles. And that to me is exciting.
Well, for somebody who wants to do a little bit more, would you recommend running, walking, lifting weights, Pilates, yoga, dance? There's so many out there that, how do you know which one you're supposed to go for?
Well, I typically say to people, do what you love, right? There's no magic exercise. There's no magic pill of exercise. You have to start from where you are. So what I see a lot of people doing, unfortunately, is they haven't moved in a long time, and then they do something that is just too much for them, and they end up injuring themselves. So you want to start gently. This is a journey. We have to get out of this all or nothing attitude. This is something that we want to do for the next, years and years and years. So approach it from, okay, if I haven't been doing anything, what can I do? So I don't want you to start running a marathon, but can you start walking around your house? Can you walk? Can you do some simple breathing, some present moment awareness, some Pilates, some yoga? Learn how to lift weights. So anything, find out what you're interested in and then explore it. Don't jump in the pool right away. Like sit back and learn. I think that one of the things I really teach my clients, well, I do teach is how to use your muscles. So whether you start running or walking or lifting weights or Pilates or yoga, whatever it is, find somebody who knows how to teach you to do it properly so that you don't end up injuring yourself. And I mean, just have fun with it. And if you don't, don't just try it once and give up on it, because different instructors can motivate you in different ways, but just keep searching until you find something that really, makes you feel good.
So you would recommend going to a class perhaps to try it out?
Well, I teach classes. I love classes because there's other people around. It's motivating. People can do things on their own. What I typically find is if you're just starting, I kind of use a car analogy a lot, that if you have a car and you need to do a repair on it, you take it to a professional. So they fix it for you. Our bodies are the most complex, amazing machines in the world. And we need to learn how to use them properly so that we don't injure ourselves. So a lot of people I find get injured and, there are find somebody you resonate with that will take it slowly, because a lot of times people will push you too quickly. So you just have to say, listen, I'm just starting. Please teach me how to, whatever it is you want to do, teach me how to do it properly. Because then you're going to have much more fun and longer lasting results, right?
No, totally. Because one of the issues is if you get injured while you're, learning and developing new exercises and skills, then you stop and you go back to, not doing anything for a while. And then it's tough to get started again.
Absolutely. And, I broke my foot, 20 years ago now. And what I learned in that moment is it is so much of a mindset. And I work with people because I'm like, you still have 90% of your body. So get inspired by Paralympics, and listen, anybody can exercise. We just use excuses not to exercise. So there is nothing that will stop you except for what's between your ears. You will talk yourself out of it. And starting is the hardest point or part. So I really suggest to people, some techniques that they can do just to get started.
What are some of the techniques you might recommend?
Well, one of them is understanding your amygdala, right? So when you understand what is stopping you. The other one is to look at your fears, your excuses, what's holding you back. A lot of it's mindset, working on the fact that a lot of people say, I don't like exercise or that kind of thing. So changing that. And sticking with it. We live in this quick fix society where we think, I exercise for a week and I'm going to drop 5 pounds or whatever. And I really teach people it's the journey. We have to find that journey and the passion to move forward. And those are just some of the tips I use. And, some people like joining team sports. Some people like classes. Some people like doing videos. There's no right or wrong. You just find what works for you.
Fantastic. Well, so going to, our audiences, many of them are on a keto diet. So going specifically into keto, it's obviously great for them to pair exercise with a keto diet. But should people start exercising when they first start keto? Because, often they have this initial keto flu period when they feel tired. Is that a good time to add in something extra like exercising if they haven't been doing it before they started keto?
Yeah, so what I mentioned to people is if you have been an exerciser, right? So if you're used to exercising, you can continue to exercise. But if you are, coming from an inactive state and you start doing a keto diet, I typically would recommend focusing on one thing at a time. because what happens is it's this all or nothing attitude again, where we think, oh, I'm going to go keto. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And then all of a sudden you crash because it's too much. And statistically, they've proven if you change one thing, you're 85% more successful than if you start to change 2 and 3 and 4 things. So if you are not active presently, I would definitely say focus on the keto, nutritional part of it. But that doesn't negate going for a walk and continuing to do what you're doing, but make that a habit, because habits take time and they take energy. And then when you're feeling more comfortable with that, then you can start to add in some more movement. And the other thing is I really try and teach people intuitive living. So if you are feeling like you have, even if, say, for example, you're an exerciser and you start doing keto and then you get the keto flu and you are just not feeling great, maybe that's a time where you go and have a rest or do something like a quieter exercise as opposed to doing something really intense, because we need to honor our bodies.
No, that's great advice. So switching topics slightly, going more into the foods, what would you recommend people eat before or after a workout? Any top foods or things they should watch out for?
So when I first started my journey years ago, I knew nothing about intermittent fasting. I was like the total, cereal, toast and peanut butter, jam and juice kind of girl. And I was not feeling great. So, but the thought of not eating was really scary, because we're conditioned to think we have to have 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, eat as soon as you get up, all of this stuff, right? So there's this process of going through where I started to make my, I was, getting into smoothies and I love that liquid nutrition. And then I experimented with fat lattes and intermittent fasting. So basically I like to work out in a fasted state, but I don't recommend people try that immediately if they're not used to it. So there's this great thing called a fat latte. There's all different kinds of names, but you just add a little bit of, fat like MCT oil or ghee or organic butter or coconut, something along those lines, to your tea or coffee. I blend it up and add some cinnamon. And that basically tells your brain that you're safe, instead of thinking that you're not safe because you haven't eaten. So I hope that makes sense. So I recommend to people to typically, if they're going to exercise in the morning, to not eat. Have your water. I like lemon and water in the morning. I take my supplements, and then sometimes I'll have a fat latte, and then I'll work out, and then about 30 minutes later I will eat something, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So again, it's really understanding your body. You can't go from toast and cereal and juice to not eating, because you might feel lightheaded. So you might have to have like a little tablespoon or a teaspoon of MCT oil or something, just to take your brain. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in the brain, but that your brain thinks you're not starving, right? So that it calms you down. So I don't know if anybody has gone through that process. But then afterwards, I love having, you have a great recipe book, by the way. I love having I call it my fat releasing smoothie. And it's on my website, but it's just a smoothie. And I love smoothies because it's pre-digested. So you've just worked out, you have all this energy going to healing your muscles and, all sorts of things. And then I personally like having a smoothie because it's just gentler on my system. And I put MCT oil in there. I put some coconut oil, or not coconut oil, coconut milk. I have a whole food complete I use. I throw in some flaxseed and cinnamon and collagen. And that's perfect for me. So again, find out what works for you. But some people, might like some eggs and salad or avocado and salad. I think the biggest thing is that we have to eat real food. And when we do that, we nourish our bodies. And we were talking briefly about micronutrition, which I'm huge on. We're just made up of cells. And the more nutrient dense our food is in terms of micronutrition, we're feeding ourselves, and that's what they need. So a couple things from your cookbook that I love. I love the spinach basil chicken meatballs. Like those are one of my favorites. You know, after a workout or for lunch or dinner, I can do like an omelet with some asparagus and avocado and a green drink on the side. I mean, there's so many whole food choices that we can have, like tacos, and you know, you have a great taco recipe in there. So, and I always have some fatty snacks, some keto snacks in my fridge. So
some nice fat bombs.
After a workout, yes, after a workout, it's just, again, wait 30 minutes. And then I typically say to people, because it can get very overwhelming, pick two to three things you like after a workout and just try and stick with those. Don't be adding in so many different things every single day. Just stick to those, get into the habit, and see how those things make you feel, and then adjust from there.
That's really good advice. I do feel like people try to add in too much variety at the beginning, and then it becomes overwhelming. They don't know what they're supposed to do, what ingredients things are, and where things are. So
absolutely.
Well, now going to the core of what we wanted to talk about, which is what exercises would you recommend to really enhance a ketogenic diet? So we've chatted about, you know, walking, just simple 5-minute things that you can do at home. Are there a couple that you can just share with us that we can go through and really explain the techniques about?
Yes, we can. So we chatted about, again, so depending on where you are, beginner to intermediate to advanced, there are always exercises you can do. So we'll talk about 3, for example. There's the ever famous push-up, which people are like, oh, I hate push-ups, but I'm like, it is such an amazing exercise. So a beginner could start on a wall, right? And, you know, that helps build wrist strength and really learning how to use your chest. So it's not just doing this, it's pushing your arm, pushing the arm. So learning how to get the chest muscles going. It's a great core exercise. It gets your heart rate up. So a beginner start on a wall, a intermediate level, beginner intermediate could start on the floor on all fours in like a tabletop position and just do push-ups from there. And I feel like I want to get down on the floor and do this, but and then you go to your knees, and then you can go to your toes. And what I say to people, though, it's not about getting onto your toes. It's about feeling it in every single movement. So I've been exercising for decades, and I can still do wall push-ups and get a sweat because I'm using my muscles. So I say to people all the time, it's not doing the push-up on your toes. It's doing the best push-up, whether it's on the wall, on your hands and knees in a tabletop, or if you move your knees out a little bit more to make it progressively harder, right? So really embrace the level that you are at and make it as hard as you can. And then with push-ups, you can just do, you know, slow push-ups, and then you can do pulsing, and you can do holding. You can do so many different varieties. So that's one of the exercises I love. Then mountain climber, so that's basically in a plank position, and you just run your feet in. So you could walk your feet in, you can speed it up, you can do it fast and then slow. So I mean, any variation with that. And then the last one, planks. I love planks because they really help with your push-up and your mountain climber. And when we have a strong core, we are stronger everywhere. Like, life is so much easier when we're strong and fit. So doing a plank, again, you can start in a tabletop position. So you're basically, you know, hands and knees, like a cat-cow position, and hold it there. And you can dig your toes into the floor, and you can just really work on making that core strong. And then you can start to move your knees out so that you get more leverage, right? So you're going to have a harder core workout, and then you can come onto your toes. You can be on your forearms. You can go up to your hands. You can, you know, we cycle out the knees. I mean, there are 1,000 different ways to do a plank, But the thing is have some variety, and again, go back to the basics. And I have some really great plank basics that we need to do, because it's not about holding a plank for 3 minutes. It's about doing it properly. So a lot of times people's butts will go up, they go down too low. So really feeling the plank. Like, I'm not kidding. When you learn how to properly execute an exercise, it makes it harder and it changes the exercise. So I'm really all about safety and properly doing an exercise. So what happens is you can make this into like a little HIIT exercise where you would do 10 seconds of push-ups, rest for 10 seconds, 20 seconds of push-ups, rest for 10 seconds, do that 8 times. So that's an example. You could do that with the mountain climber and with the plank. Or you could do push-up, mountain climber, plank, and do 20 seconds of each, 10 seconds of rest. There's so many variations. It's so exciting. I just want to drop down and do them right now. But they're full body movements. You don't need any equipment. You can do it anywhere you want. And I just, those are 3 great exercises to get you going.
I love those. I love the fact you can do them anywhere and you don't need any equipment. So really, there's not much excuse or deterrent. No. You don't have to pay money to join a gym even.
No, you know what? It's just, like I said at the beginning, most of this is mindset. And it's something we talk a lot of the time about, things we can't do. And so I really love working with people to break down those barriers. You can do anything. You can do anything you want to do. You just have to have the passion, the desire. You just want to have to do it. And when you do, it's amazing what starts to happen in your life.
Yeah, and it's all about taking that first step.
Take the first step, absolutely. And I talk a lot about in my book, Cookie Dough in the Dark, failing forward. Because people, they try something and they go, oh, that didn't work for me. And I'm like, no. Just try something new. Try again. Like, fail forward. When we stop trying is when we fail, right? So, I mean, a lot of my job is inspiration, motivation, empowerment, and just continuing to move forward. Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, I would love to thank you for being part of this show. It's been amazing. Thank you for sharing those exercises with us and all your tips about eating, about the micronutrients. I'm glad you really emphasized that. And you can, of course, find Tanya at vibrantlivingwithtanya.com. And we will drop in all the other links where you can find her, including a link to her book, so you can check it out and discover more. So thank you again.
Thank you, Louise. It's been wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Hey, it's Louise from the Keto Summit show, where we share practical tips and actionable advice to help you look good and feel good lifelong. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please click the subscribe button on YouTube and share our YouTube link with your friends and family. Thanks, and see you on the next episode.